Alright, I know this isn't the review of Hello Boss Murder Family, but I am working on it. Well, actually started the script and currently working on the one for Harvest Moon Festival and the rest of season 1 and 2 because I'm weird and want to get my thoughts out on current things before going into past things. But let it be known that I am working on the Hello Boss reviews for all of season 1 and 2 episodes we have thus far. For now, I present you all with a long-awaited return of classic Veggietales reviews. Roll tape! Hey pups, RP here. When I first started reviewing Veggietales episodes, I started off with one of the fan favorites, which was Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space. Granted, I'm not sure how well that video did. I'm gonna need to check it. Holy mackerel! It's got over 3.5k views? Dang girl! I feel as if my Veggietales reviews get the most views out of all my content. Well, for the most part. So since I'm now doing these in chronological order, I feel like now's a good time as any to do a review of one of my favorite Larry Boy adventures, Larry Boy and the Rumor Weed. That being said, let's get started. Now, before we get into the actual review itself, I feel as if some recapping and pre-trivia is in order for this episode. For those who haven't watched my review of Fib from Outer Space, I highly recommend you do so now before watching this video. Don't worry, I'll also be here when you get back. Traveling back in time to the early to late 90s, at the time of creating one of Larry the Cucumber's many alter egos. Phil Vischer, the creator of Veggietales, and the company behind it, Big Idea, said in both a commentary and behind the scenes that they parodied things like Gilligan's Island and God Wants Me to Forgive Them, and Star Trek and Are You My Neighbor? And the next parody he had in mind was a Batman parody, Tim Burton's Batman to be specific. He had the idea of Bob the Tomato being a serious hero called Bat Bob, and even had an idea for a teaser trailer for the character. Then figured he needed a parody of Robin to Bob's Batman, and got the idea of Larry Boy being the boy wonder quote unquote, but then decided that Larry Boy should be the Batman with no sidekick. Almost like the Batman we all know whenever Robin isn't around with him 50% of the time. Originally, Larry Boy was supposed to be a one-off character after his debut in David the Giant Pickle, but with a positive reception from the fans and kids alike who loved Larry's new alter ego superhero persona, he got his very own episode in April of 1997, Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space, which was a huge success for Veggietales at the time, and Larry Boy was an instant fan favorite. It was only a matter of time before another Larry Boy episode would come out as a sequel. 2 years later, on July 27th, 1999 on VHS, was the official release of Larry Boy and the Rumor Weed. The episode starts with no countertop sequence, but pans similar to the scene from Fib from Outer Space, with Percy and Little P leaving a movie theater talking about the movie they just saw, which happens to be a chicken monster movie. And no, there's no fibs falling from the sky this time around, you two. But instead, some Reno Scallion thief randomly appearing out of nowhere! And this Scallion turns out to be one of Bumbleberg's criminals, the Milk Money Bandit. As he makes his escape, he's thankfully stopped by none other than Larry Boy. Having been shaken up both literally and figuratively speaking, the milk money having been rightfully returned to the two Ps. The bandit has been taken to jail, and once again, Bumbleberg is saved thanks to Larry Boy. The end. I'm kidding. Larry Boy, while talking to Alfred through his plunger phone, I think, accidentally bumps a plant onto a wire where two women gossip about things I don't really care about, and is zapped into the city sewers, while Larry Boy warns the space aliens quote unquote, he's gonna be ready for him. The one and only thing he should be worried about is the Frankenstein creature in Bumbleberg's sewers, aka the Rumor Weed. Skipping the intro, where it's just a shortened version of the OG Larry Boy theme song, we cut to a black screen with Alfred narrating a story about how he helped out with a dinner party, and then the screen finally cuts to whom Alfred was sharing the story with, and it was a group of school children. Again, won't question it. Must be a special guest thing for the veggie schools or something. Afterwards, Alfred tells Dad Asparagus, who is apparently a teacher now, and the students that he needs to quote unquote recharge his batteries. which confuses Laura and Junior. Later that day, the two Veggie kids converse about what Alfred said about recharging his batteries. So they randomly and suddenly come to the conclusion that Alfred's a robot. Reasons why? They say he talks kind of funny and is kind of stiff like Junior's toy robot. Huh. You know, I think I've seen this reference before in another show, but I can't pinpoint where exactly it's from.
What? You think I'm a robot?
Wait. Oh, SpongeBob. Wait. Did Steven Hillenburg and the rest of the writers of the show get the idea from Veggietales Once Upon a Time when SpongeBob was hitting off on Nick when it first aired? Hey, it's just a theory. A toon theory! Back to the episode at hand. Laura and Junior both wonder if they should keep it to themselves or tell someone. That's when they hear...
Keep what to yourselves?
Oh my gosh, talking plant! Where's a herd of zombies to fight the invasion of plants? This is the Weed, whom we're just gonna call Miss Weed. Fun fact, said in a commentary of this episode, a letter was sent to Big Idea about Miss Weed being a stereotype about women being gossipy. But in reality, she was just a character parody of the famous comedian and actress, the late Joan Rivers. If y'all never watched the E's Fashion Police or Shrek 2 with that one red carpet scene, if you've seen the Muppet movie Muppets Take Manhattan, there's a scene in the movie with Miss Piggy working at a cosmetics store and Joan's her co-worker. Look up Joan Rivers and you'll find she's very funny and very talented. We've lost so many legends and irreplaceable people within the past few decades. Joan Rivers is one of those legends, pups. Back to the episode, again. Miss Weed convinces Laura and Junior to tell her about what they want to keep to themselves, and they tell her about them believing Alfred is a robot. And just like, well, a weed, after the rumor is told, it spreads throughout Bumbleberg, and the rumors get crazier and crazier, with it being spread more and more. First with Percy asking if Alfred is one of those dangerous robots, and then Mr. Nuzzard and Dad Carrot believing that Alfred is a dangerous robot wanting to rule the world. Speaking of which, cutting to Alfred and Larry, as they have a lovely afternoon planting flowers and gardening, there's an interruption with Alfred having to answer the phone, to which Miss Weed appears in the garden and tries to spread the rumor to Larry, which the cucumber isn't concerned about that. Not yet, at least. But more concerned about her being in Alfred's flower bed. Talk about major priorities here, am I right?
You better get out of here before Alfred comes back.
Yeah, you tell her, Larry. Larry ain't playing no games, so don't care about no rumors. Begone, Weed Lady! But before she could finally tell him the rumor, she's interrupted by Alfred calling Larry that the phone call is for him. Larry hurries over and tells Alfred about the weed in question.
Alfred, there's a huge weed in your flower bed. I told it to leave.
Yeah! Again, Larry's priorities lie not within the story about Alfred, but more so what Alfred would be worried more about, like weeds in his flower bed. And during the call with Mayor Blueberry, she explains she needs Larry Boy and can't call him with a signal because it's daytime and he can't see it in the daytime. I wonder if that's how the mayor of Gotham calls on Batman, when it's daytime and the bat signal is hard to see in the daylight. Also, is she aware that Larry and Larry Boy are the same person and keeps it a secret? Or does she think Larry and Larry Boy are two separate people and believes they're acquainted or friends? Once again, I won't question it. She explains about the random uprising of weeds all around the city. Larry agrees to call upon Larry Boy to stop the widespread of worldwide weed.
We've got some gardening to do.
Yet another epic Larry line to add to the list, along with previous ones from Fit from Outer Space. I swear, the writers love writing amazingly good serious lines for Larry. We then go to the musical number, the successor of the OG Larry Boy theme song, the Rumorweed song. You can't deny that the song is pretty catchy. And in between breaks of the musical sequences, Larry Boy tries to get rid of Miss Weed by using a weed hacker and hedge clippers. Miss Weed seems unharmed and appears to be the plant version of Deadpool. After the second attempt, Alfred's just using Larry Boy's plunger ears because he installed some very interesting and equally useful sensors to help get more info about Miss Weed. It works, but she grabbed Larry Boy by the ear and...
It's kind of strong.
Apparently a plant is stronger than a cucumber. Well, talk about beating your greens.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Once returned to the Larry cave, Alfred tries to get more info about the weed. And this is where the early childhood science lesson on photosynthesis comes in.
Plants turn sunlight into energy. It's how they grow.
I swear, kids who watch Veggietales were probably ahead of their peers for those about as young as toddlers and preschoolers. Showing the screen with the weeds having spread all over Bumbleberg already. They try to figure out ways to stop the spread of it before it's too late, and the city's destroyed. Larry Boy accidentally bumps the satellite control, and apparently told it to look underground. Larry Boy, your genius is showing. The satellite reveals something massive under the sewers, which is the mother weed. And that gives Larry Boy a PTSD flashback from his previous encounter with a monster similar to the mother weed.
Now, which one of you guys should I eat first?
Alright! Goodbye, Bumbleberg!
Honestly, if I were Larry Boy, I'd be having the same flashbacks too from a personal encounter with the Fib monster. Thankfully, Alfred was prepared this time. He learned his lesson after the incident with Monster Fib 2. This time the buttons are labeled and has a plan in mind. The plan so far is, well, fly through the air, of course. But isn't the weed underground? Maybe they're planning to spread some weed killer throughout Bumbleberg to stop the mother weed and respond and save the day?
And now push the red button.
Okay.
Whoa, what the heck? Alfred, Larry needs those wings. What are you doing?
What?
Alfred, have you lost your mind?
It's all part of the plan.
He's lost his mind! I can't look, but I have to. Wait, what's going on? Oh. Phew! That was a close one. I thought that was the real end of Larry Boy at that point. So Alfred's plan was for Larry Boy to go underground, but needed him to find the perfect spot to get closer to the Motherweed's location. And, well, that's pretty much it.
Actually, you're boring.
Ha! I get it. Boring because he's burrowing / digging underground, and boring is another way of saying digging. Good one, Alfred. Once Larry Boy finally hits the tunnel the Motherweed is in, well, considering connections get bad when people are around locations with bad connections or no connections to technology at all, like sewer walls, cave walls, caverns in general, there's a big problem there. With no transmission, there's no direction to defeat the Motherweed. And with no directions to defeat the Motherweed, Bumbleberg will be renamed Weedleyburg. And with the weed taking over the city and then the world, we're doomed! Doomed, I tell you! And Larry Boy and Alfred are already reading each other's minds. So with that, Alfred takes a stand, and the helper of the hero becomes the hero to help the hero. With Larry Boy, he finds one of the weeds, but it turns out it isn't the real Motherweed, and oh my goodness, it's huge! Larry Boy tries to find weapons that Alfred packed to stop and defeat the Motherweed once and for all, and finds a weed killer machine. And here comes another classic epic Larry line to add to the list.
Hasta la vista, Weedy.
Grade A, chef's kiss writing, y'all. And now, to finally defeat the Motherweed. Oh, come on! With things not looking too good for Larry Boy, things are apparently just as bad, if not worse, for Alfred. With the rumor spreading like wildfire of the weeds that came with it, Alfred can't go to the police for help, he can't get the mayor to help, he can't get a single Bumbleberg civilian to help because of that stupid rumor about him being a robot.
I'm not a robot. I'm British.
Meanwhile, poor Larry Boy has been getting the tar beat out of him by the Motherweed, and the Motherweed grows stronger. And finally, one of the many misweeds can share the same rumor with Larry Boy at long last.
Did you hear the one about Alfred?
Back on the surface, The rumors get crazier and crazier and worse, like a domino or butterfly effect. Or something with an effect. Like this one where he's said to have laser eyes, and one weird one that he's some sort of Power Ranger or something. Yeah, that one seems a bit far-fetched, don't you think? Suddenly, earthquake! And the mother weed emerges from the depths and barrels of the sewers. And she reenacts Fit from Outer Space by grabbing Alfred and going to the very top of City Hall. Dad Asparagus asks Junior and Laura what's going on, and they're just there apparently, hanging out, witnessing things. Yeah. Junior explains the whole thing, which confuses Dad Asparagus, and Mr. Nuzzard explains what he was told as well, and says, "The weed told me," which everyone can't confide in as well, since the rumor has spread all around town. Dad Asparagus confronts the Mother Weed. Mother Weed kind of rats out Junior and Laura, and, well, they explain what happened that day when Alfred was a guest speaker at their school. Dad Asparagus explains what a figure of speech is, and, well, I'm gonna play the clip.
If you hear something about someone that sounds bad, you should ask them about it.
Basically explaining not just to Junior and Laura, but to the audience as well, as most shows like Veggietales does, to tell someone they trust and love, like a parent, grandparent, legal guardian, teacher, any adult, about something or someone that sounds bad or just straight up weird, and to never spread rumors. Sadly, some either forget or straight up ignore this advice into adulthood, because everyone spreads rumors from childhood straight up into freaking adulthood, for crying out loud. Or some just never learned this lesson to begin with. Parents, teach your kids to never spread rumors about anyone. Jeez. Why are parents so lazy at their one simple easy job of being an actual parent? So, after confirming that Alfred is not an evil robot, but a kind-hearted soul, flowers start to bloom on the Mother Weed. Seeing this, that gives Laura and Junior the idea to spread words of kindness to fight off the nasty rumor. Thankfully, it works! With the citizens remembering times Alfred showed them nothing but kindness, such as helping Mr. Nuzzard with his dinner party, helping someone change a tire, carrying another person's groceries for them, and helping out with a bake sale as well. With the rumors no longer spreading, and the kind words spread much harder and more than the rumors, this happens. Congratulations! Your Mother Weed has evolved into Queen of Flowers! I'm sorry, I had to put at least one Pokemon reference in one of these reviews. Hey, my name's Riolu Puppy for a reason, you know. And I forgot to slide down this rumor! I don't know what that means, don't ask. Phil said that in the commentary of the episode, not me. The townsfolk apologized to Alfred for believing the rumor in the first place, and not asking him about it first. And Alfred forgives them for believing said silly rumor. But I feel like something's missing from this equation of a happy ending. But what is it? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Has anyone seen Letty Boy?
Oh yeah, Larry Boy! Hope he's okay. There he is! He's alive at least! Though, he might need a good long rest after this episode.
Somebody told me you were a robot.
Larry Boy, no! Don't restart the chain reaction again. With that, the episode ends on a happy note. Larry Boy is okay, but is definitely going to need to rest a ton after this adventure. The rumor weeds have finally been defeated, and Bubbleberg is safe once more. We cut over to the Larry Cave for the verse of the episode's lesson. My personal favorite verse from Proverbs 12:18, reckless words pierce like a sword, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. A verse I lived by to this very day, and one we should all strongly live by too, especially in times like these. A quick little recap of the episode and moral sends the audience home with a powerful lesson in the power of words.
See you next time.
Ta-ta!
And with that, the episode ends. Before we get into my final thoughts and opinions on this episode, I like to dedicate this moment to some brief trivia about Larry Boy and the rumor weed. This episode will be the last of a lot of things according to Phil in the commentary. The last half-hour episode of Veggietales before making them longer, and the last to be using Softimage, the the animation software for creating these episodes before moving into the other software, Maya, which is used by a lot, and I mean a lot, of the latest Disney and Pixar films, such as Up and I want to say Tangled, if that counts. In the last Veggietales episode, ended the 12 episode deal with the company Word Music, before moving into Lyric Studios, the company most well known for producing the Barney and Friends videos, for re-releases and remakes of all Veggietales videos. This is also Mike Naraki's favorite episode alongside Madame Blueberry and Are You My Neighbor? Guy has some good taste, eh? But this is also the first episode of many things to come. The first episode to be similar to a more theatrical film that Phil was going to practice for the Jonah movie, along with King George and the Ducky, Esther, and Lyle the Kindly Viking in the future. The opening scene where Larry Boy is confronting the Milk Money Bandit was actually going to be featured in Fit from Outer Space, but was cut and reused for Rumor Weed because of the time cut for the previous Larry Boy adventure. There's also a rare trailer that you can find on the DVD release of the episode that was scrapped because it would have been deemed too scary and similar to the Batman trailers. I think you can also find it on YouTube as well, or look it up on Google if you're lucky and look hard enough for it. The episode was also released for a party at the Hard Rock Cafe at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Talk about one big step for Veggietales and one giant leap for Big Idea. But what do I think of this episode? Well, let's see. With the success of Larry Boy and the Fit from Outer Space, it would make sense for Larry Boy to come back with a sequel. And while Fit from Outer Space was said to be too scary for kids, according to Phil, I feel like Lowering the Dark and Fear Factor for a Rumor Weed was the best route to go. The 90s and early 2000s were a different time then, kiddos. Some did complain about the reusage of the scene from Fit from Outer Space, and Junior's line, I don't know, being reused as well. Neither mind y'all that Disney has recycled the same animation for years, and nobody complained then. It's a normal thing that both big name and indie animation studios do from time to time for budget cuts, time, and easy use. It's a common practice! Despite all that, as a kid, I always loved this episode of Larry Boy, and to this day, I still do. It's entertaining, funny, and is, what I believe, is Big Idea's magnum opus. The animation has definitely improved since the start 6 years ago in 1993, and it shows with Larry Boy and the Rumor Weed. Overall, I am more than happy to give this episode 10 out of 10 flowers of kindness, and can't say anything but nice words about the episode itself. And that does it for another Veggietales review, pups. Stay tuned for my next review about Hello Boss and the entirety of its first season next time I upload, and be on the lookout for more videos just like this one. That being said, remember to spread words of kindness and healing towards others, not words of hurt and pain, and I'll see you then. Take it away, outro. Woo! That was a lot for one singular review, but I did it, and you made it to the outro! Yay! So, I imagine a lot of you are wondering a bunch of things right now. Before you ask, I shall answer. Are you going to review post-Jonah episodes? I mean, I might, not all of them, but I might if enough people ask to review one or two. But I can only do one episode at a time, people. And I can only review the ones I'm most familiar with, like Little Joe, A Snoodle's Tale, etc. Are you going to review the cartoon adventures? Oh, absolutely yes! I loved those growing up. But again, reviewing one episode at a time. What about 3-2-1 Penguins? Sadly, no. The show is good in its own right, but there's just way too many episodes for me to review them all. Plus, the entire storyline of the show was very confusing. And finally, are you going to do a review of Jonah and the Pirates movie? Jonah, yes. The pirates who don't do anything? Maybe? Again, if enough folk ask, I might do a review on it. So, with all those questions having finally been answered, hopefully that satisfies those who are always curious about what I have planned for the future. Big thanks to my Patreon Patreon for their support. If you want to help support this channel and or the things I do, please do consider becoming a supporter of my Patreon and Ko-fi pages in the description. For the Patreon rewards, you'll gain early access to certain videos and upcoming projects like comics, fan-made works, free art requests, and many more if you pledge $1 or more. For my Ko-fi supporters, you'll gain early access to all projects from comics, videos, and get an art reward plus a shout out per video. I also have Picarto and Twitch channels for live streams if I don't feel like going live on YouTube. Be sure to check those out as well. And if you're interested in sending and sharing your fan art to me, be sure to follow me on DeviantArt, Furfinity, InkBunny, Tumblr, Twitter, and more of my social media linked in the description below. With that being said and done, I'll see you in the next one, pups. And always remember to stay awesome, strong, and beautiful, my little puppies. RP signing off for now. Peace!